guys. Day 2. Dose. Day 2, guys. Again, this is our intro to Jiu Jitsu. This is day 2, and we're going to be continuing on with our mount work. Our last video, we were doing a lot of high mount escape work and the bridging and rolling and different options and things you could do from there. Now this time, we're going to be working on escaping when we got our opponent where we want him, the person on the bottom wants him, and that's going to be close to our hips. So there's a couple of hand positioning scenarios that I really want to address, and it's position of your arms and what to do and what not to do and so on and so forth. So one thing I will not, I really don't address or really push on my students is an actual like full-on hip or elbow escape or shrimp out of the mount, like a really legit full-on shrimp move. It works, but to me it's a lot of work. It's not as efficient as you possibly can make it. So I really try to avoid things that create a lot of work for myself. And doing a full-on hip escape, bridging, and then turning while we have our opponent sit on top of our hips, it's gonna be ultimately a lot of work. So a lot of the strategies that I take when I'm working my hip escapes or my mount escapes is I have to be patient. I take my time with it. Because the worst thing you could do is gas yourself out when you're in a disadvantaged position like the mount. You know, you're already in a shitty position. Don't make matters worse by making it shittier for you by gassing yourself out because you're trying so hard to fight and escape. Okay? So, a few things, guys. Okay? So, I have Gabriel. He's mounted me. Okay? Before he was up by my armpits, I couldn't get my elbows in, okay? That's like the worst case scenario you could possibly be in, okay? So ideally, like I was saying before, we want to keep our hands in, elbows in, okay? Now, everybody wants to, even before they start turning, okay, everybody wants to, we're taught to like push the leg, okay? We bridge, turn and push on the leg, okay? Now, the mistake there, like I was saying earlier, it's a lot of work. Again, because a majority of his weight is sitting on my hips, and when I go to bridge, my legs are taking the blunt force of that weight that I have to carry in the motion of the shrimp or the hip escape, okay? So, the other thing is the hand positioning. I do not want to open my elbows up at any point in time to place my hands on the legs for the escape, okay? Even if it's just one here, okay? One here, I don't want my arms to flare out. Because again, when my arms come away from my body, the weaker the structure is gonna be, okay? So I want to keep my arms as close to my body as possible. So the ideal positioning of your arms, what I like to convey to my students is I want to keep one hand across the hip, okay? So my hand is going to be on one hip, the elbow is going to be on the other hip, okay? So my other hand is going to be placed on top of this hand, and my left elbow is going to be on the inside, okay? So once I get this position here, what this forearm allows me to do, okay, is to defend his position from going any higher, okay? Which is, again, I don't want. Especially when I start to turn to my side to work my escape, I don't want him to climb up any higher because when I'm here, what's a very common occurrence, when anybody goes for the hip escape or turn to the escape, okay, everyone starts to turn here, okay? And that arm slides out, it compromises your limb, all because you didn't emphasize the hand positioning here on the hips, okay? So I want to keep my hand across the hip, elbow inside, okay? When I drop my left leg, since my left elbow's inside, that's the side I want to face, okay? I'm not going to hip out, okay? I'm not going to bridge, okay? Again, I want my movements to be as efficient as possible, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn to my side here, okay? I still have my right hand, my right forearm across his hip, so in case if he starts to slide up to my back, I think let's slide up before I can get over here. Yeah. Okay, I'm able to keep this frame in front of his hip and prevent it from coming up any higher and taking my back. Okay, and my arm's not under his armpit to compromise it, because the minute my forearm leaves his hip, he can close up the space, and now I'm in danger. Okay, so again, this keeps this frame keeps him from being able to get a dominant position when I do get to my side. Okay, so when I'm here, get this hand inside, I drop my leg, and then I turn here. Okay. Now, like I was saying earlier, I'm looking to be patient. Okay. So when I do that hip escape, okay, a majority of the time, our opponent's weights shift in the opposite direction, just like Gabriel's did. It was shifted to his left, and what that ends up doing when I turn to my side and I'm pushing, because maybe he's trying to take my back, it lifts his right leg off the ground a little bit. And maybe if it doesn't entirely lift it off the ground, what it does is it shifts the weight off of this leg to the other leg, so it's going to make it easier for me to get my left knee through and under. Okay, so let's go to the side. So again, this hand sits right here. Okay, left elbow goes inside. I drop my left leg and I just turn. Okay, I have this frame here across the hip. Okay, now, like I was saying earlier, notice how this leg comes up. Okay, if it doesn't, I can now use my hand to create the space, pull this knee through. And then I'm gonna go to half guard here. Okay, once I get the half guard, okay, my left leg is gonna stay over his right leg like this. I don't want to let it hang out like this, okay? It's going to be way too easy for him to pass, okay? So I always want to maintain this hook, okay? Once I get here, I'm going to swim my right knee through, okay? In between his legs, and my right arm is going to scoop his left arm here. And I'm going to shift my hips out to the side, and then I get my full guard, okay? It's a lot of, I know it's a lot of steps just to get to the closed guard, or that goal of the closed guard, but it's a necessary evil, okay? You have to take your time, you have to take the necessary steps to make the escape as efficient as possible, okay? So again, let's go to this side so they can see the escape. So I'm here, my hand again comes across the hip, left arm inside. I drop my left leg, okay, and I just turn to my side here. I bring my right knee through, and I go to half guard, okay? When I get to half guard, I need to shoot my left arm under, wrap with a good high underhook, okay? My left leg, okay, it goes over the leg that's in between my legs. My right hand, okay, I'm gonna open, use my elbow to open it up a little to create space for my knee to come through. So now my knee is peeking out from in between his legs. This right hand is gonna scoop the arm, okay? As I scoop, I'm gonna stretch my right knee away from my chest. Here, and I'm gonna shoot my hips out in the other direction. I pull my foot out, and then I go to closed guard. Okay? That is just the basic mount escapes that I teach, and I try to convey to my guys and push with my guys, and to be as efficient as possible. That movement is probably gonna take the least amount of work and effort to escape the mount, okay? Now, what I love about that position, it also puts us in a situation to where it opens up other opportunities for an escape, okay? Like I was saying, you know, when we hip out, sometimes that knee's not gonna come up off the floor. The weight's not gonna shift. It's not a perfect world, so nothing's ever gonna happen the way we want it to happen 100% of the time. So we always have to have that ace in the back pocket that we need in case option A, B, or C fails, okay? So the finished product is still gonna be the same, but the end product, I'm sorry, is gonna still be the same, but the entries into that half guard position is gonna be slightly different, okay? So, let me fix my belt. Okay, so I have Gabriel here. Okay, I have my frames, okay? Again, this is keeping him from coming up any higher. Okay, I lower my left leg, and I turn, but he doesn't shift. He still has his weight on me, okay? I'm struggling to get my knee through. There's no space, okay? So there's several ways I could go about getting the half guard. First one, okay, this one's my favorite. It's probably my go-to for most of the time. I'm gonna take my right heel over his leg. I'm gonna pull his foot in between my legs, okay? Then from here, I could use my left knee or left elbow to slide my left knee under, okay? Because I propped my left leg underneath his shin, okay, I created space, okay? Now, I created this space in order for me to really slide that knee through, but I have to get past that knee, okay? So the way I'm gonna get past that knee, I'm gonna use my elbow to just push his knee up slightly, and I'm gonna just wedge my left leg under his knee to pass it, okay? So now when I go to half guard, again, underhook. I'm gonna switch my hips, get the underhook here, okay? My right elbow stays on the inside of the leg, my left leg goes over, and again, just like we did earlier, my right knee comes through. My right arm is gonna underhook it on, stretch him out, and go to full guard. Okay, so like I said, end product's still gonna be the same. We're going from our escape to a half guard and then to full guard. Okay, but it's just our methodologies towards getting to that half guard are changing. Okay, and it's all changing based on what our opponent or our partner gives us. Okay, so that was that. So we went over the hip escape. Okay, then we use that heel ankle pull. Now we're going to use our instep, okay, to do the same thing, okay? So we're here, I turn my side here, okay? Now for whatever reason I can't get it, or maybe I just made the decision that my foot's already here. Whatever the case may be, however you decide to get to this is an option. This is probably going to be my third option. Okay, but all we're gonna do is we're gonna use our foot to lift. Bring that foot in between our legs, and I'm gonna pinch my knees around that, around his ankle. Pass my right leg over, and again, push with my elbow, slide and wedge my knee through. Go to half guard. Left leg comes over, okay? Forearms on the inside of that knee. I bring my knee in, I scoop, I stretch, and then I go to full guard, okay? So, right there, you have three different options. You have three different methods to get to the same result, okay, which is closed guard. We have the hip escape. You could use your ankle. You could use your instep, and then get the half guard, and then go to full guard. There are many others ways to get out of it, get out of the mount if they're not moving, okay? Now, like I said, like earlier, I like to be patient when I'm mounted. I already made a mistake. I already screwed up I did something to where he was able to get the mount and get to a very, very, very dominant position. So I did something wrong, okay? And again, I don't want to make matters worse by gassing myself out trying to escape. So in the process of being patient, my partner, he's gonna move, okay? And by keeping that frame and following him as he moves, he's gonna give me those opportunities, okay? So one thing that we can do when we're waiting for our partner to give us those opportunities. So I'm here, I'm just waiting, I drop my leg, okay? Now from here, as I turn, he might go to the technical mount, okay? Here, I still have this frame, keeping him from getting a really good solid position. So once I get here, he's already committed his weight to his left leg. So again, it makes the weight on his right leg a lot lighter. So all I could do is just push his ankle or lift my hip, pull my leg through, and then now I'm in half guard. When he comes back up to his knees, here, underhook, push, scoop, and go back to full guard, okay? So essentially, all I'm doing is waiting for him to move, okay? Which is naturally gonna happen. If I start to turn and my opponent starts to feel that he's losing the position or losing the mounted position, he's naturally gonna wanna transition to a technical mounted position, okay? You have to capitalize on that. Now, there's one other scenario that might come up when they're in that technical mount position. You'll still have your forearm, okay, in the hip, but you miss that opportunity, okay, where his leg was out here to really bridge and pull the foot through, okay? But this time, he has this nice and tight, okay, and he's up high on my back, okay? But I still have my arm here, okay? There's still an escape, but it's not gonna be the half guard, okay? What I'm gonna do here from this position, I'm gonna use that same hip escape movement, okay? But when I do that hip escape, as my hips turn, okay, it's gonna extend his right leg. So I'm gonna bring my knee up, hip, okay? And now I use my left hip to extend. I'm still keeping this frame, and now I bring my right leg through, and I go to the single leg X, okay? Then when he stands up, I'm no longer in a mounted position. Now I have a dominant position with dominant guards, okay? So you have your options, you have your basic escapes. So the one concept, again, I want you guys to really take to heart is that you need to be patient, okay? Take your time, okay? You're gonna beat like I said in the last video, you guys are just starting out. You don't have the tools in your tool belt for the positions or scenarios or situations, okay? The whole journey of Jiu Jitsu is about adding those tools to the tool belt for those right jobs, okay? I mean, I could have I have a screw, but it's a Phillips, but I have a flathead screwdriver, okay? It might get the job done, but it would take a long time and a lot of effort to use a flathead on a Phillips screw, okay? So, but once we're along our journey, we learn and we gain that correct tool, then we develop efficiency with our jiu-jitsu. And you take time, you develop that efficiency, you learn those tools for the right situation by taking your time, enjoying the journey, and just learning from the mistakes, okay? By failing at everything you do. Failure and failing is your best teacher because you will always remember that, okay? Another thing with jiu-jitsu, is solo drills are so important, okay? You can do them at home, you can do them anywhere, okay? You can do them by yourself. Solo drills are there in place to help you develop that muscle memory, okay? The muscle memory of the movements that we typically find ourselves utilizing in Jiu-Jitsu. And I used the analogy in the last video about like learning languages, okay? These solo drills that we do, they're words, okay? They're words that create sentences. The technique are words that we utilize in a sentence. But then when you come to class or when we're teaching sequences, just like you would in a class, you're being taught to take all those words and put it into a comprehensive sentence or a comprehensible sentence that you could use and understand it in translation to, you know, another language. So think of Jiu-Jitsu that way too. You're learning another language, but you have to use those words over and over and over again to understand what those words are. And once you start understanding 1, 2, 3 words, the rest of that sequence is going to start to make sense. Once you start using those sequences over and over again, then the sentence is going to make sense. And then it's just going to come out like second nature, okay? You have to use it. You have to use the movements. You have to use the solo drills. So you develop that memory, that muscle memory, so it becomes second nature for you, just like a language, okay? So with a lot of the escapes, we went over the high mount escapes, the low mount escapes. Those are the types of escapes that I really try to, you know, again, convey to my students and really drill into my students, because to me personally, I'm sure like, you know, other instructors will have a difference of opinion or ways they like to do things, but to me, it's a lot easier to do the escapes the way I just showed. It doesn't take as much effort, doesn't take as much work, and it saves a lot of your energy in the process. So I hope you guys liked the mount escapes. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to hit me up on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, or just go to our website. You know, so we have a ton more videos that we're going to be filming. We're just going to be doing more fundamental positions that I feel you guys should be paying attention to, working on, watching, and drilling. So enjoy, guys. We'll see you at the next video.
Deuces.